qualify for Mishlach, Manas, and so on and so forth. But before we go into that, I want to add something to what I was speaking yesterday. Yesterday I was explaining the different reasons for Mishlach Manas. So there's a question, when in the morning when we read the Megillah, so we say to have in mind also the mitzvahs of Mishlach Manas and the Suda. And so there's a question, why don't we make a bracha for Mishlach Manas? Especially Matanos Laavionim, he writes over here that Matanos Laavionim is even choshever than Mishlach Manas. So why don't we have a bracha for this?
The whole year.
The
whole year. Not all
Matanos Laavionim, you have a whole year.
I'm talking about Purim. A whole year you have a breda to do it or not to do it. Purim, you have to do it. So you have to do it. So the question is, why isn't there a bracha?
Machzis HaShekel, the same thing.
I'm not going to get the Machzis HaShekel now. Okay. Machzis HaShekel is before Purim. Okay. So I have an interesting teretz why we don't have a bracha. And it also explained both these things, Mishlach Manas and Matanos Laavionim, what the connection between them. There is a shayla, b'chal mashal, when you give tzedakah. Okay, I don't want to use Machzis HaShekel as an example. When you give tzedakah, someone, you're helping someone, you're giving them tzedakah. You're kind of a very important mitzvah. The Rebbe talks so much about the mitzvah of tzedakah, that how choshev it is and how important it is, and there's no bracha for it. So one of the popular terutzim is because it could be that the Ottoman wouldn't want to take. So you have to make a bracha. You have to do koydem oiver asiyasai. That means before you do it.
Right.
So you see an Ottoman coming in, and you want to give him tzedakah, and you can make a bracha, and then he said, "No, thank you." So buy him a bracha batal. So therefore, that's one of the popular truths and why we don't make a bracha for tzedakah. The question is, however, by Mishlach Manas, there's a shayla, like we spoke yesterday, what the purpose is of Mishlach Manas, and the nafkamina halacha. That if it's an Indian of Reyes, so therefore Philip is Michael, he said, I don't need it. So you makam the mitzvah. If it's an Indian of, to have for the Suda, and he doesn't want to take it, so then you're not makam anything. So according to this svara, that we say that Mishlach Manas was for the purpose of the Suda. So the same reason why by tzedakah we don't make a bracha, because maybe he wouldn't accept it. So same thing also, you're not makayim a mitzvah Mishlach Manas if he wouldn't accept it. Alba shalt frage, what about according to those the other svara of Reus over there? Even if he's moichel, so you showed your friendship. So if you say, why shouldn't there be a bracha? So the question is, why Taka did, two questions. Number one, why did Mordechai make these two things, Mishlach Manas, Matanos Laavionim? It seems like it goes together. We always talk about Mishlach Manas. Moshe Suda's problem is a separate thing. Kriyas Megillah is a separate thing. But everyone always talks about the important thing. I got to go do Mishlach Manas, I got to do Matanos Laavionim. We always connect the two of them together. Then there's a bigger question. We learned yesterday in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch that if you want to, it's hard for us to rate mitzvahs. What's more, like sometimes they tell you, rate from number 1 to number 10. Number 1 is no good, number 10 is good. So the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch is saying over here that if we had to rate the mitzvahs of Mishlach Manas and Matanos Laavionim, so Mishlach Manas would get a 5, let's say, and Matanos Laavionim would get a 10, right? Because we learned yesterday how important it is. Like he brings over here that that's what the Eibishter does. That he's doimel l'shchina. Shaltzah akasha. Why do we say Mishloach Manos Matanos Avyonim? We should have said Faket. We should have said Matanos Avyonim and Mishloach Manos. Why was Mordechai Mesakin? Why did Mordechai give a preference or priority to Mishloach Manos?
Because Lavíונים is not guaranteed.
So what? But the two things. What's more important? More important is Matanos Avyonim.
Yeah, I think you said last year this.
I know I said it.
Yeah.
The Teretz says, I say, Mordechai was interested in protecting the covenant of the Ormalite. So how did he protect the covenant of the Ormalite? He made a takona.
Everybody.
The Zonah has to put him as a poor day's holiday, but forget, everybody receives. If everybody receives, so you can't know the difference between Mishloach Manos and Matanos Avyonim. So the Oraman that is getting really Matanos Avyonim, he wouldn't be embarrassed. Why? Because no one knows, is he getting Mishloach Manos or he's getting Matanos Avyonim? Because he sees his neighbor, they bring his neighbor also packages, and he knows his neighbor's a rich man and whatever it is. Now, if we will say, so we remained with a kasha, that according to the Deya, that your Yaitse, even if he doesn't want to accept it, so then you could make a bracha, because it's not like tzedakah. So Befeir Chachamim didn't want to make that bracha, because then it would be noticeable again if it's Mishloach Manos, if it's Matanos Avyonim.
And that's why
so it would defeat the whole purpose why we emphasize first Mishloach Manos and Matanos Avyonim in order to protect the covenant of the Oraman. If over here you make a bracha, here you don't make a bracha, then it becomes noticeable what it is, and it would defeat the whole purpose of Mordechai's intention in making Mishloach Manos and Matanos Avyonim.
You say Matanos Avyonim, you don't make a bracha.
The meaning is that Ishle, you Mishloach Manos, you give food. Package. Now, the money you give money.
These days.
Who said?
These
So
days.
it's very noticeable.
And 1 minute. Let me ask you a question. And if you walk around, and let's say there's a line of Automalite on Kingston Avenue, right? And if you give each one a food package, you're not Yaitse Matanos Avyonim?
I didn't say no.
So I'm telling you,
What do you-
so
what does it mean?
it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be
It's more
money.
mehuda.
It doesn't have to be money.
But what's the meaning of oil?
It's more mehuda.
It doesn't have to be money
His
over.
wife, that his wife was nano
Mishish
because she gave
gesagt,
ready
viele
food.
Sachen bei Matos Lavíונים, mir geht Essen, mir geht Geld. Wie der habe ich getan? Ich habe Geld hier, ich habe Essen.
Nicht in Zeit von Mordechai.
Okay.
No, that could be. He's
Okay.
right about that.
You know what? In Mitzvah tomorrow, Rabbi Lipsky will give his status why you don't have a bracha from Matanos Avyonim or Mishloach Manos.
But according to this time,
Today you have my status. So why?
according to this time, it's more like the second time that it's the receiving end.
Right, I'm saying. I said according to the other side, there's no kasha.
Yeah.
Because he may be a Michael. But according to the day, it holds that your Yaitse, even if he's Michael, so come in the Machana Bracha.
Then the
That it
problem
says,
is that
because
you'll see
in
we
order
make
to
it wrong.
protect the whole concept, the whole idea, because the bigger, like the Gemara said by Tzedakah, there were people that the highest madrega of Tzedakah is that the Ottoman shouldn't know who gave it to him, and he shouldn't know who
Who
he's
it's
giving
going
to.
to, right.
I mean, so it's also we want to protect the Ottoman, the covenant of the Ottoman.
But you know, it says Matanos Lavíונים. It doesn't say.
1 second.
It could have said my bail of the Lavíונים.
Matanos Avyonim mean
There are 2 days if why you give it, right? There are 2 days.
no. That doesn't.
We're waiting for you tomorrow. That's
Something
it.
bracha. Can't you make a bracha?
This pasuk, okay, you will to put him to now. If there's 2 days, 2 days is not you don't say something hoko.
The time that you said,
But according to that one that holds this way, why? According to one that holds this way, why didn't you make a bracha? Steak nuggets, the same one that says that has to do with the reyes? Does it say you don't need a bracha, or you need a bracha? Noah's is mentioned a bracha by Mishlach Manud Lavyoni. Shechayona was mentioned, but Shechayona said you have both of them in mind.
Ich denke, der Rebbe gesagt, als Nacht ist gebrochen, war der Walk der Mann starben von Hunger.
That's another time, but
Geen mikwe, geen
Oh, yeah.
that could be. Okay.
Von dem ist Reihe, als man die geben dem Armeleit, ihr essen. Und bis er dem geben Geld, bis er geht kaufen. Verstehst? Rabbi Lipsky.
Okay. Okay, let me learn an intervention gets. So we're up to base. We're up to base over here. Learn the Krumana is Dvarim Sharuyim Leheocho Kamosha Hain. We taken that you don't know doesn't be cooked or roasted. It's ready to be eaten. Kagoin, boss of a dog and muvasholem. V'loy chayim, not raw. I mean a masika, or sweets. It could be like a cake or what. I paytas, I kais yayin, umay dvash. Made dvash. I explained many times. It's a wine. It's a sweet wine that's made with honey. It's in English. It's called mead. M-E-A-D. There's a word for it in English. V'kayotza boy. Okay.
Doing lechila means food, means meat.
Ready to eat.
Ready to eat. You can't send a bag of flour and tell them to go bake hamantashen or to make krepchen. You can't tell them
And
that.
2 eggs and some
Right.
oil.
Kol Adam, every person, afilu ona shebi Yisrael hamakabel tzedakah, chayiv litin l'chol hapocha shtei matonos l'shnei aninim. They have to give the two armorait. The hainu matana achas l'chol echad, each one. The ksiv shtei umaton nois rosh rabim le'avyonim rosh rabim. Mashma shtei matonos l'shnei avyonim. Ve'ein medagdikim b'mois purim. By mois purim, we're not medagdik. El kol ha'poshid yad rito noisem loy. In other words, you don't have to check them out or ask them to push the taich over here. That's push the taich over here. That you don't have to check them out and start asking them questions. Why are you collecting? Why didn't you go to work? I mean, it's not from people that like to investigate. Umisha hu b'makom she'ein sham aniyim. Yaakov es amois etzloi. Achi is dam le'aniyim or yishochem lehem. The Russian over here, the Russian over here is kol ha'poshe yad noisem loy. L'chayre, it says ve'ein medagdim. What? First should I touch ve'ein medagdim? I told you, like don't question them. But it doesn't say here. It says that there's something wrong by Parshad Yad. In other words, don't be medagdik if he was Parshad Yad. That's what it says over here. Look at the words in the Shulchan Aruch. It says ve'ein medagdikim. And it doesn't say why you're not medagdik. It doesn't say that you have to ask him, are you really poor? Do you really need it? It just says you're not medagdik. Kol Parshad Yad noisem. What's the pshat over here? So the pshat is as it has to do with today's parsha, this week's parsha. We learn in V'zaysa truma shetikhu me'itam. So what does Rashi say? V'yitna li truma. So Rashi li l'shmi. What's pshat l'shmi? There's a lot of pshatim on it. What's pshat l'shmi? But some say that l'shmi goes on Yud Kei Vav Kei, and it's a lesson how to give tzedakah. Now, what's a lesson how to give tzedakah, and what's it got to do with tzedakah? Yud Kei Vav Kei, the first Yud is the coin. The coin.
It's 10?
Huh?
Because it's 10?
No, not 10, the coin.
Coin, okay.
The coin. what you give is the second hay is the 5 fingers. In other words, the hand that gives, so Yud K is the hand that gives tzedakah. Then comes a Vav. The Vav is that you stretch out your hand to give to the Ottoman. And the other hay is the Ottoman accepting it. Right? Let's say, if the Ottoman stretched out his hand and you gave him, so that's not according to Shmi. So those up there in Shulchan Aruch,
Who put out
over
his
here, you don't make it, put him, you don't make any difference. Who gives, what, if you
Whoever
gave
stretched
first,
the hand
wait,
out.
Elakara Pasha Yad Neusen, Eise stimmt ihm mit Riel Shmi, that's not negated. That's not my concern. Kala Pasha Yad is Neusen. That's the shot in the words. Right? Because he doesn't touch what you're not medagdik.
Could you make a pashtup shot that it could be the guy's rich and he's saying that he's poor?
That's Pasha's shot. Ain't medagdik. Yeah, but if someone, because there's also the even in there's a Gemara in Basa that even when you're medagdik, the Gemara talks about medagdik and look, sus, I think the very medagdik and umzoinus.
Right.
It depends what he's coming to collect for.
What is he asking for?
So if someone comes there for food, you don't ask no questions. He comes for it. So it would be dependent on a lot of details over here. But the way I'm teaching it now, so we're talking about the way of giving tzedakah. If you're medagdik that you want to have legal shmi, yud kei vav kei, even if you don't have it, even he was Pasha Yad before you offered him, it's Fendeswagen, it's okay on
So
Purim.
you're supposed to give him before he asks you. Yud Kei Vav Kei is you're supposed to give him before he asks you.
Yeah,
And put him, you don't care.
right. Okay. Enough Titus for today.